Well, guys, first let me tell you, I have like this weird cough going on, kind of like Hillary Clinton. I swear I'm not dying either. I am really happy to be here today. Like Eduardo said, I graduated from law school, but frankly, I didn't have the discipline to show up in court on time. So I decided to play one on TV. I'm also, very happy to be here at the Hispanic Bar Association, or as some Trump supporters would call you, a divisive, racist organization that discriminates against non-Hispanics and plays identity politics. And if that wasn't enough, all of you are disqualified from ever serving as a judge because of your heritage. But other than that, let's have a pleasant time. Before I begin, though, let me get one housekeeping thing out. I am not a journalist. I am a commentator. You would be amazed by how many people don't know the difference. Basically, the difference is that I can say whatever the hell I want to and even get paid for it. Do not expect objectivity from me. I'm not here to speak for Republicans. I'm not here to speak for Hispanics. I'm here to speak for me, share my thoughts, my opinions. You're going to get them blunt and unvarnished. I also want to tell you, if you're a Trump supporter, you may not like what I say. I respect your choice. I respect your right. Please put down any sharp objects. I'm going to talk to you about the 2016 election, or as I call it, el debacle, the debacle. The Republican Party started this race with some of our best stallions we had in our stable. And somehow, we started up with our best stallions, and we ended up with a horse as, I'm sorry, I meant Donald Trump. We started with the most diverse field we've ever had. 2 Hispanics, and yes, bear with me, I'm counting Ted Cruz as a Hispanic. A Spanish-speaking Bush, an African-American, a woman, and we ended up with Trump. We ended up with a really rich New Yorker pretending to be a populist. Make that, we ended up with 2 really rich New Yorkers pretending to be populist. One by one, Trump vanquished 16 other opponents. He beat candidates who were better funded, better prepared, more experienced, better debaters, and he deserves credit. Donald Trump launched his campaign on June 16, 2015. And let's just recap, for fun's sake, some of the things he has said about Hispanics since then. In that speech, he said, when Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing crime, they're bringing drugs, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. He then went on to say, Jeb Bush, he has to like Mexican illegals because of his wife. Then he accused Jeb of speaking Mexican. For the record, I speak Nicaraguan, Mexican, Cuban, and a little Portuguese. He threw Jorge Ramos and Jose Diaz-Balart out of press conferences. He still hasn't given one Spanish-language media interview. He claimed that Judge Curiel, a natural-born citizen of the United States who was born in Indiana, was unable to perform his job because he was Mexican. I'm not quite done yet, bear with me, it's an extensive list. He made an outreach to Mexican Americans and celebrated Cinco de Mayo by eating a taco bowl. I hope somebody explains to him Mexican Independence Day is coming up in a week. He might want to eat a chimichanga. That's just some of what he has said about Hispanics and immigrants. He's also attacked and said some pretty gross things about women, even Republican women, like Megyn Kelly. He mocked communion, called it having a little wine and a little wafer, and has never asked God for forgiveness. He has attacked John McCain for being captured, called him a loser, belittled and called POWs losers. By the way, this from a man who got 5 deferments from the draft because he had a foot spur. He doesn't remember which foot, but it might explain his need to keep putting his foot in his mouth. And tell me something. Do you think that if his last name had been Martinez, or Gonzalez or Curiel, he would have been able to dodge the draft because he had un callo en el pie. So, and then Donald Trump, let's not forget, imitated and mocked a reporter with a disability. He attacked a Gold Star family. So in the event you don't watch cable news or you've been living in the International Space Station for the last year or you haven't caught me, my drift because I'm so incredibly subtle. I've never supported Donald Trump. I don't support Donald Trump now. And as I've said on TV, unless La Virgen María misma appears to me on a piece of toast and expressly orders me to, I will never, ever, nunca, jamás, ni muerta, ni loca, ni bajo tortura, endorse or support Donald Trump. And why don't I support Donald Trump? Because I'm an immigrant and he has attacked immigrants. Because I'm Hispanic and he has attacked Hispanics. Because I'm a woman and he has attacked women. Because I'm a Catholic, a really imperfect one, guys. Lightning strikes when I go to church. But I respect communion, I respect my faith, and I expect my president to do the same. Because I'm a friend of John McCain's, and I've seen the scars that he bears and the physical, emotional scars that man bears from being tortured savagely for 5 years. Because I'm the sister of a disabled man, and I'm disgusted by any grown adult who mocked the disabled. Because I saw my mother and my father bury my brother, bury their son. And no, Mr. Trump, losing a child does not compare to building a building. When I listen to Donald Trump say those things, I really can't help but think to myself, man, this guy could have really used a Latina mother. I mean, look, I'm sure his mother was a very nice woman, but let's face it, had he had a mamá Latina with a chancleta in her hand? Did any of you have one of those Latina mothers with like an Olympic athlete's reach and precision? 'Cause I had one of those. Let me tell you why else I don't support Donald Trump. It's not because he gets his foreign policy advice from watching the Sunday shows. It's not because he doesn't know the number of articles in the Constitution, or because I cannot identify the animal species of that furry thing growing on top of his head. One of the big reasons I don't support Donald Trump is because I think he is a racist and a bigot. And I don't understand why it's so difficult to say that. You see, and I don't like calling people that I don't know that, but in my book, an able adult who repeatedly makes provocative, discriminatory remarks, never shows remorse, never apologizes, and instead doubles down and repeats the behavior over and over again is a bigot. Furthermore, if you are not a bigot, you are offended by bigotry in others. You don't retweet white supremacists. You ask people who attend your rallies and show up with Confederate flags to leave. How many times does a person get to make a textbook racist remark before we call him a bigot? How many times does a person get to make a textbook sexist remark before we call him a sexist? How many times does a person get to use a Star of David in an ad about money and corruption before we call him an anti-Semite? I got no qualms in using the word when it comes to Donald Trump. I know people who know Donald Trump, know him personally, and they assure me he is none of those things. I am wrong. They're all mad at me. You see, they say he's just hamming it up for the crowds, playing a character on TV. Well, folks, if we want to vote for a racist character on TV, why don't we all just go out and vote for Archie Bunker? You might be sitting there asking yourself, why the hell is this woman still a Republican? It's a question I get asked almost every day. I'm a Republican because of Ronald Reagan, because I fled communism and he fought communism. I'm a Republican because of people like Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, who fight every single day to represent all Americans, including our community. I'm a Republican because I believe in individual freedom, a small government, and a strong national security. I'm a Republican because of leaders like Paul Ryan, who can show compassion and common sense and want to address issues like poverty. I'm a Republican because I believe in strengthening institutions of faith and strengthening families, all families. white, black, brown, and rainbow-colored ones too. I'm a Republican because I believe this country is better when we have two strong parties debating ideas and proposals and solutions. I'm a Republican because I think our community and other communities are much better off when we have two parties actually competing for our votes and courting our support, as opposed to one party that ignores us and another one that antagonizes us. I'm a Republican because I've been a Republican since before I could vote, since I was 8 years old. I'm a Republican because I was a Republican before Donald Trump was, and he's not gonna make me self-deport from my party. I'm a Republican because there's way too many people who have fought and struggled for a long time to make the Republican Party more inclusive, and I'm not gonna leave them alone. I'm a Republican because I don't know whether it will be in 4 months or 4 years or 8 years, but we will reclaim and rebuild this party. Donald Trump has claimed this party's nomination, but he cannot claim my party. I do not accept that Donald Trump represents Republican values. And you know, this week, Tuesday, Monday, I don't know what day, I was in Miami and I filmed a Get Out the Vote PSA with Emilio Estefan. And Emilio was reminding me and telling me the story, and I'd almost forgotten this. I recalled it when he said to me about how Vicente Fernandez actually sang at the 2000 Republican convention. In fact, Emilio told me this story. They actually had a real problem with him because, you see, Vicente Fernandez wears a Charo outfit, and Charo outfits include 2 pistols. And the Secret Service don't like to have guns, live guns, around live presidents. And there were going to be live US presidents in the hall. So Emilio said, Vicente, you can't go on stage with the guns. And Vicente said, well, I'm not going on stage. Pero Vicente, you can't go on stage with the guns. A un hombre no se le quita ni la pistola ni la mujer. Ended up, they went out and they bought him some toy guns. And he went on stage. But this was back when, you know, once upon a time, a Republican presidential nominee could get 44% of the Hispanic vote. This was back when we could have a Vicente Fernandez singing El Rey at a Republican convention. I would tell you, we would be much better off if we had that kind of competition today for our vote than what we have going on today. I was at the Trump convention. It was a far, far cry from the 2000 convention. And I call it the Trump convention, not the Republican convention, because frankly, most Republicans I know weren't there. This is the first time I can remember that not one of the federal elected Hispanic officials from Florida showed up. I mean, Marco Rubio, yeah, you know, he made this cameo appearance on a hostage video, but I was putting on lipstick and I missed it. Mario Diaz-Balart, Carlos Curbelo, Ileana Ross-Layton, they all decided that was the week they had to color coordinate their paperclip collection. Many of us thought, we hoped, that Trump would pivot into a more unifying and inclusive candidate, into a more presidential figure, into a normal adult, into a decent human being after the primary. It has not happened. It will not happen. There will be no intervention. He may be reading a teleprompter, but you judge a man, you judge a woman, not by the words they read, but by the words they say. By the words they say when they are not reading, by what is in their heart. And what are you gonna tell this guy? Donald, you're deranged, you're a narcissist, you're a self-centered jerk. Don't go out there and be yourself. In 4 days at the Republican convention, I saw a total of 3 Hispanic speakers on stage. And yes, I'm still counting Ted Cruz. I heard a nominee give the longest acceptance speech since 1972. He couldn't find one positive story to tell about one single Hispanic. He couldn't find the time to say one good thing about one immigrant. I heard him talk over and over about immigrants committing crimes, rapes, and murders. I saw him stand in front of a wall. I saw him have Sheriff Joe Arpaio there, but he couldn't find one good thing to say about our people, to say about immigrants. I heard him talk about building a border with Mexico. I never heard him talk about the names of the fallen Mexican Americans and other Hispanic Americans that filled the Vietnam Wall Memorial, the ones who paid the ultimate sacrifice while he was busy rubbing his foot. Now, let me tell you something else. I'm not supporting or endorsing Hillary Clinton. I oppose Trump, yes, but I'm not going to run into somebody's arms just because she's not him. Maybe I watched way too many telenovelas growing up. Maybe it's the romantic Latin woman in me. I still want to fall in love. I want to believe and feel enthusiasm and trust the person I am voting for. And she does not do it for me. I think Donald Trump brings out the worst in America. I think she brings out nothing in America. I'm a Sacred Heart girl. The Sacred Heart nuns warned us not to give anything away for free. Why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? So we have the duty as a community to leverage the power of our community, get some firm promises and proposals. What are they going to do about immigration reform? How are they going to handle the minor children at the border? How will she bridge education gaps in minority communities? How will she improve the job numbers for Hispanics, for all Hispanics? What Hispanics, which ones of you will she have in her cabinet? Will she have working close to her? What are they going to do to make our lives and the lives of every American better? In Nicaragua, we say, el que no llora, no mama. How do I translate that? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. And I'm counting on all of us to squeak loud and proud. Hillary Clinton's Hispanic outreach will be led by Tim Kaine, a Spanish-speaking Good Samaritan who taught welding and carpentry to poor young men in the middle of nowhere in Honduras. And if you are from Honduras and you're here, do not pretend that El Progreso is not in the middle of nowhere. I've been there. And in the meantime, Trump's Hispanic outreach is Sheriff Joe Arpaio and a taco bowl. Oh, wait. Let me not forget Marco Gutierrez. Do any of you know who Marco Gutierrez is? Well, folks, please learn his name, because if he ever comes to one of you needing legal representation, I want you to remember who he is. He is the sellout, and I don't use that word lightly, but he deserves to be called that to our community, his community. But I give the Trump campaign, a lot of credit. Do you guys know how hard you have to work, how long you have to look to find the one self-loathing taco truck adverse Mexican walking amongst us? It could not have been easy. This guy, Marcos Gutierrez, said we should control Mexican immigrants into the country because Mexicans are a dominant culture and would take over. Okay. Why don't you go tell the people earning less than minimum wage, doing backbreaking work, working under blazing sun and driving rain from sun up to sundown, that they are dominant? Why don't you go tell the women being paid less than minimum wage, being abused, not given any workers' rights, being threatened to be reported to immigration, that they are dominant? Why don't you ask the parents who've been torn away from their children, or the children who've been torn away from their parents, just how dominant they feel? I could argue the dominant point with him. And since we are on the topic of dubious Mexicans, and I'm sorry, are there any Mexican government officials here? Are there? They just left? Oh, they're here. Tápense las orejas, rápido. Enrique Peña Nieto. I'm not Mexican. I'm not of Mexican heritage, pero coño me dio vergüenza ajena. Donald Trump insulted his people, his country, his government, and he still gives him an international platform. He still invited him to his house for a visit. What kind of man does that? I mean, I can think of one type of person that does that. La palabra empieza con P y acaba con Jo. Y no es ale. Bueno, hasta ahí llegué con Peña Nieto porque están ustedes en el cuarto. There is nothing I or anybody can do to change Donald Trump. He's made his choices. He's charted his path. He has developed his strategy. And from everything I can see and hear, it does not depend on a strong showing of Hispanic support. The latest polls I've seen have his support level in the teens. I don't know what those people are thinking of, but we live in a country where we are all free to make our choice on whatever we want. His support amongst African Americans, on the other hand, is 0%, 0%. I told Donna Brazil the other day, I'm going to take an Ancestry.com test because I'm pretty sure I'm black somewhere. Donald Trump is counting, hoping on low Hispanic turnout. And that, my friends, is where we can help. We have got to keep our community informed and active. Outrage, worry, fear, indignation is not enough. We must translate all those feelings into votes. We've got to show that you cannot win a presidential election in the United States in 2016 by using the Hispanic community as a punching bag. If Donald Trump wins despite a poor showing with Hispanics, it means our votes didn't count. Our voices didn't count. We cannot allow that to happen. We must commit to each other. We will go out there. We will get our families to vote. We will vote. We will get our pets out to vote. We will get everybody to vote. I don't like any candidate for president, but I'm like most of Americans, but I'm still going to go vote. I'm going to vote down ballot for the people that fight for us, for the people that make me proud. And I'm begging you to be engaged and keep our community engaged. I'm pleading with you to vote and urge our community to vote. The two nominees, Trump and Hillary, are together a historic first. They are the two most unpopular presidential nominees in our nation's history. I'm not making that up. But they are the choices we have. And let me just say, I don't agree with Ted Cruz on a lot of things, but I do agree with him on this. And it's the message I want to leave with you today. Vote your conscience. Vote your conscience because we owe it to our children and to the future generations. Vote your conscience because we owe it to our community. Vote your conscience because we owe it to those whose names fill the Vietnam Wall and the tombstones at Arlington Cemetery. Vote your conscience because whether Donald Trump likes it or not, we are Americans. I'd argue just as Americans as his wife, any of the three of them. Vote your conscience because we owe it to our country to exercise our right. Vote your conscience because there are too many people around the world in countries, some of which we came from, who don't have that right to vote. Vote your conscience because together we will and we can make a difference. Vote your conscience because thank God, gracias a Dios, we live in a country where we can. Thank you very much and enjoy your conference.